All right, welcome back to the channel, everyone. Hope you all are having a good day so far. I got kind of a surpriser here, but this was by request, and I'm not gonna lie, I saw this on my feed and I was considering watching this anyways, but apparently this is a very interesting take. And yeah, this is Jimmy High Roller. I know I didn't think I was gonna react to another video of his, but this one is called "They Said They Were the Greatest Team of All Time," and from what I understand, this is going to be covering the modern team versus the old dream team. So I was curious about what someone who's obsessed with stats like Jimmy is comes up with. I'm just curious, because as we know, everyone calls the dream team old. This team right now is older. So a lot of people just don't know. They think, oh, it was the end of Magic and Bird's career, so you know they had to be older back then, right? No, man, it's really not the case. But anyways, as always, I'm gonna leave the original video, the link to the original video down below in the description. If you want to watch it without my commentary, go right ahead. The link's down there. Everybody else, please leave a like to this video. It helps out a lot. And yeah, let's check this out. Here we go.
Beat Corrals.
Check this out. You see that score? USA versus Germany. Germany is up 82-81.
Yeah, the original Dream Team was blowing teams out by about 40 plus, if I'm not mistaken. He'll probably get to it.
4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. The game should have never been this close, but it is. In fact, it's been a close contest since the opening tip. Both teams going bucket for bucket, neither of them really able to pull away. Someone is going to have to step up and take control of this game if they want to win. And of all the players on this court, of all the talent, the greatest shooter of all time, a former MVP, the future of USA basketball, it is none other than all reliable 39-year-old LeBron James who completely takes over this game.
Finds James, knifing through, hitting the left hand.
Backside, nice run here and save by James.
LeBron trying to take over. Running inside. Trying to answer the tie-in. James another rebound. To do so this coming weekend. Oops! No! James another board and a foul, which will send him to the line.
Look at this bench react.
LeBron James open for three! LeBron James bodying inside, he scores!
He's a man. Goodness, does he take over?
I hate when he does this stuff. I hate when he does this stuff. Just enjoy the moment, dude. You know, you did good. You did good this time. Just enjoy the freaking moment. Don't be like this.
With the game on the line and 4 minutes left in the fourth, LeBron turned back the clock and completely put Team USA on his back, scoring their final 11 points and single-handedly outscoring Germany. The Young Bucks are loving it. These performances should have came to an end years ago. And yet here we are, 22 years in, and the old geezer still got it.
All right, so Jimmy's going to be licking LeBron's nuts for a little while here. But the real question I pose as a USA basketball fan, someone who's been watching since the 80s, why did this have to happen? That's what I want to know. So, okay, cool. Cool for you LeBron fans. Like, hey, LeBron did good in this game. You know, he did good and down the stretch. Like, I'll give him some props for that. Awesome. We needed that win. Why did this have to happen? If we are such a good team, why can't we beat Germany? Who's the star for Germany? We've got like 12 stars. And that's the problem. I don't think our stars work well together. I don't think we have a solid team. I think we have a lot of awesome names on our team. And on paper, it looks exciting. But so did the big three in Phoenix. And it's not working. It's not working as a team. So that's what I'm seeing with the United States, and this is eerily familiar to 2004. This is so damn similar to 2004 because we were having trouble in the beginning, showing signs of weakness, and then we blow a team out the next day, and then we'd struggle the next day, and then eventually you drop a couple and you lose. And it's the Olympics. This is not the regular season of an NBA season. Like, it's the Olympics. You drop a couple and it's over.
But wait a minute. This is the best basketball team on the planet.
No.
Some have even called this roster the best team of all time.
Yeah, we got the German team, which is just a solid basketball team. Same with South Sudan. They got no business beating us or competing to that level with us. If you look at the stars on our roster, this shouldn't be happening. But it's happening because they're playing solid team basketball. And hats off to them for that.
But if that's the case, then why out of all of these players does it take a 39-year-old LeBron going ballistic in the final minutes to win a game by single digits? Their previous game against South Sudan was a similar story, with the go-ahead basket by LeBron being the only thing separating the US from a loss. A couple months back, when this team was first announced, they were immediately hailed as one of, if not the greatest team ever assembled. However, through 5 exhibition games, 3 of which were won by 6 points or less, the title of greatest team ever seems to have been given out a bit prematurely. Is this
1 point game? Yeah, that was South Sudan. Australia, I forgot that one was so close too. Yeah, we've been having to come back from down. We've been having to come back from behind. How the hell do you say that line? I'm moving on.
Of greatest team ever seems to have been given out a bit prematurely.
Yeah.
Is this team truly the best team we've ever seen? On paper, they have all the credentials to fit the bill, but on the court, they aren't nearly as dominant as some teams from the past.
Here's the situation the way I see it, and I'll stop blabbing so much, but Jimmy's triggering some shit in me already. All right, imagine like the Shaq and Kobe prime Lakers. All right, now they're playing against, no offense, Commissioner Dynamo, but they're playing against last year's Detroit Pistons. Okay, we got one of the best teams you could the most dominant teams you could ever imagine against one of the worst teams we've ever seen in the NBA. Okay. So those two are matching up, Detroit and prime Lakers. And Kobe and Shaq, they beat Detroit by 1. Is that something to celebrate? I don't think so. To me, that's not something to celebrate. That's scary if that happens. It's like, oh shit, maybe we're not as good as we thought we were.
Today, I've teamed up with DraftKings, the one-stop shop for all streaming. No handles the rest.
Yeah. I still don't gamble. I invest. I don't gamble, though. It's funny. I actually did invest in DraftKings when it first came out. The stocks, not gambling.
Place finish in the FIBA Basketball World Cup. Reports surfaced that LeBron James was recruiting players from around the league to suit up for the U.S. men's national team for the 2024 Olympics, reaching out to teammates, friends, foes, all to better their odds of defeating a common enemy, everyone else. And although fun to imagine, the team he was attempting to put together seemed like a classic case of too good to be true.
What'd they say about Kyrie? And Dallas's Kyrie Irving also have serious interest in committing. Yeah, I really wish we did have Kyrie.
Attempting to put together seemed like a classic case of too good to be true. Except it actually happened. A 12-man roster that some are saying is the greatest basketball team of all time. LeBron, Durant, Curry, Embiid, Tatum, AD, Booker, Kawhi, who has since been replaced by Derek White, Edwards, Halliburton, Holiday, and Bam.
You know, all it is that the USA, the American people, have forgotten what these dream teams look like. It's not the greatest team ever assembled. It's the greatest team that we've assembled in quite a few years, though, for sure. For sure. Since probably 2012. I think this would be the best lineup we've had since 2012. But it ain't better than the 2012 lineup.
One of the most loaded teams in the history of basketball. And yet, 5 exhibition games into this year's Summer Olympics, and this team has just barely escaped with a win on multiple occasions. Nowhere near some of the colossal blowouts we have seen Team USA put down in the past. Which begs the question, is this actually the greatest team of all time? Greater than the 1992 Dream Team?
I don't think so. I got the 92 Dream Team, the 96 follow-up, and I'd give the Redeem Team over this. I need to look at the lineup of the 2000 team because I'm not recalling it off the top of my head. But those 3 alone, I'll give over this team.
team, a group of players that won games by a record-shattering margin and took basketball to a global scale? Are they greater than the Redeem Team, or even the US Olympic team in 2012, led by Kobe and a prime LeBron and Durant? Well, it all depends on how you want to define greatness. Are we talking about a team with the best collection of talent, or is greatness defined
No.
by how good they are as a collective unit?
We're talking about team basketball, so it's how good are we as a unit. Just having a bunch of stars is cool, but it doesn't make us a good team.
And since the 2024 US Men's Olympic team has yet to play a single non-exhibition game together, I assume we are referring to option number 1. In terms of major career
That's unfortunate.
accomplishments such as MVPs, championships, All-NBA teams, the key milestones that we use to measure how great individual players are. Here is how the 2024 US Men's Olympic roster stacks up against some of the greatest teams of the past.
All right. 14 championships to 12. Okay. He doesn't mention the 2000 team either. Okay. MVPs, I guess, cool. So 8 to 9 back then. Finals MVPs are tied.
Now, it's important to note that I only took into consideration the accolades these players earned leading up to the time of the Olympics.
Yeah, that's
so,
fair.
for example, although Michael Jordan won 6 titles and 5 MVPs by the end of his career, I only included the 2 titles and 3 MVPs he won heading into the '92 Olympics. This is only fair since players on the 2024 roster have yet to finish their careers and still have time to pile up more accolades. So this is a snapshot of how accomplished these teams were at the time of their formation. And
Who had the other DPOY other than Jordan? Was it David Robinson? I'm guessing David Robinson there.
when ranked against the most accomplished teams, you could make an argument that this 2024 team is the greatest of all time, just slightly edging out the US men's team in 1992 and in 96.
Once again, yes, on paper.
Oddly enough, the 96 US men's Olympic team was more accomplished at the time of their formation than the 92 Dream Team was. But overall, this year's team is arguably the greatest team in terms of their basketball resumes. But that might be due to the fact that this year's US Olympic team is old. By the 92 Olympics, Larry Bird had already played his last NBA season. His back was completely toast, and he was the oldest player on the team by a considerable margin. He was 35, which means right now, Stephen Curry is older than Bird was during the 92 Olympics.
Yeah.
In fact,
He just looked that old because his back was shot. You know, he was ready. He was retiring. It was over. But he wasn't actually that old. He had back issues.
Devin Booker has already been in the league longer than most of the players on that 1992 Dream Team. So although this 2024 team has the advantage of experience and longevity, the team in 92 got many of their players during the peak of their careers. So what if instead of accolades and accomplishments, we looked at how good these players were individually at the time of the team's formation? Here is a chart of the 2024 US men's Olympic basketball roster and their production and efficiency from this past season, with box plus minus on the y-axis and win shares per 48 on the x-axis. Now, a few things jump out here. Tyrese Halliburton has been considered one of the weaker links on this roster, but he was actually one of the better players on this team throughout the regular season. LeBron James is really old and still really good, and Joel Embiid's spot is a quick reminder that if it weren't for a season-ending injury this past year, the man might be a back-to-back MVP right now. And now for some context,
I don't think he's ever going to win another MVP. I think it was a mistake.
here is the
They
2012
felt bad for him.
US Olympic team and their advanced numbers in the season leading up to the Olympics. LeBron was the best player on this team, followed by Chris Paul and Kevin Durant. They also had a veteran Kobe Bryant and Olympic Melo. And statistically, you can make an argument that the individual players on this team were better than the players on the 2024 team. The 2008 Redeem Team was relatively young and inexperienced in the international realm, with LeBron James leading the way coming off of his 5th season in the league, a young Chris Paul entering his prime, and MVP Kobe Bryant. But overall, this team probably wasn't as good as the US roster this year.
Yeah, screw the numbers. Kobe was the man. D Wade was the secondary. Jason Kidd was also a leader there.
1996, however, is one of the more underrated teams ever assembled, with a ton of 90s greats like Pippen, Gary Payton, Reggie Miller, and of course, the greatest front court lineup the world has ever seen.
Shaq,
featuring David Robinson, Hakeem
Robinson.
Olajuwon, Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley, and Karl Malone. This team was experienced. They were all still in their prime, and as a whole, they were better than this year's team. Which leads us to the 1992 Dream Team, who are still on a completely different level from any other team before and since their inception. Because here's Michael Jordan, here's David Robinson, Magic Johnson, Drexler, Stockton, Barkley, and the rest of the team. And now we have a better picture of just how good this 92 Dream Team was. The 1992...
We don't call it the greatest team ever assembled for nothing. Just because a bunch of these names, a lot of people have forgotten. Stockton, Drexler, David Robinson, Barkley. A lot of people forget he played basketball. You know, Pippen is misunderstood now. Karl Malone, we only know him for the bad deeds he's done outside of the court. Patrick Ewing, we forget. Larry Bird, people don't even know that he was a good passer and a great defender and a rebounder. Man, I don't even know. I don't even know. It's crazy. It's crazy to me. That was the greatest team ever assembled, and they all checked their egos when the game started. They shared the ball. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. They played the greatest team ball I've ever seen.
U.S. men's Olympic team was so good that Anthony Edwards in 2024 was statistically worse than every single player on the 92 Dream Team outside of Christian Laettner, who hadn't even played a single minute in the NBA up to that point. Now, you may be thinking that these stats of the players in 1992 might just be inflated or possibly a miscalculation. How is there so many all-time great players at their peak in the NBA in 92? And where are all of these players today? Well, they're playing for other countries. Because here's Nikola Jokic, here's Luka Doncic, here's Giannis, and here's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So in terms of individual dominance, the 92 Dream Team would be like having this 2024 roster without some of their relatively weaker links and the addition of Luka, Jokic, Giannis, and SGA. That is how good the Dream Team was. And I don't know if we will ever see one single team as good as this 1992 US men's Olympic team was ever again. In 1992, basketball was a sport dominated almost exclusively by American players. The NBA, and by default the entire world, revolved around players from the US. There was, of course, exceptions to this. Among the elite foreign players of the early 90s were Nigerian-born Hakeem Olajuwon, who ended up playing for Team USA, Patrick Ewing from Jamaica, who also ended up playing for Team USA, Detlef Schrempf from Germany, and Croatian legend Dražen Petrovic. But that was about it. The NBA had yet to really pursue basketball on a global scale.
By the way, hats off to Dražen.
Two international teams that were eventually added to the league wouldn't make their debut until 1995. 95% of all NBA prospects were American-born or attending US universities. But as Steve Kerr said after Team USA's loss in last year's FIBA World Cup, this isn't 1992 anymore. Over the last 32 years, the number of foreign-born NBA players has skyrocketed. From 21 foreign-born players, just 5% of all active players in the league in 1992, to 125 foreign-born players throughout the league in 2024, representing nearly a quarter of all active players. Today, when players join international competition, more often than not, they're just playing their NBA teammates in these tournaments. It's a bunch of NBA guys versus a bunch of NBA guys. The 92 Dream Team was and still is the greatest team ever assembled because they were a collection of the best basketball players, not just in the US, but in the entire world at the time.
They also played very different basketball from one another, and in the best possible way. Nowadays, I don't know if you noticed, but okay, back in the day, in 92, we had a bunch of unique basketball players. Everyone had their own style. Everyone had their own pros and cons, you know, things that they were experts at and things that they struggled at. All right? They're specialists. Now, everybody in the NBA, American born, they went through the same programs as each other, and they play identical to each other. Tell me the difference between Tatum and Booker. They play the same exact game, you know, like all, and it goes down, down the list. There's a ton of players like this that just play the exact same style of basketball. And I've noticed over the last like 4 or 5 years, all of the players that are coming in with that uniqueness that we used to have, they're coming from overseas. Giannis was one of them. Luka's another one. Jokic is another one. And now, what the fuck is his name? San Antonio. Wemby. Wemby is another one. And there's so many more examples of this. But I'm figuring it out that it's partly because everything we do is all just numbers and math based here in the United States. So we're training people the exact same way because the numbers have dictated this is the way to score the most points in a game. So everyone is trained to shoot that 3-ball. That's why we have big men shooting 3 balls and all this crap nowadays, because it's just about putting the most points up in the least amount of shots, and that's all we care about anymore. But there's nobody unique. Ant-Man got me a little excited last year because I'm like, ooh, this is looking kind of old school, you know? But I don't know. Outside of that, there's not very many American basketball players that are exciting me anymore because they just look like, you know, another version of something else I've seen, like a knockoff.
Outside of Hakeem, who was arguably not as good as Ewing or Robinson in 1992, and Isaiah Thomas, who was unjustly snubbed from this team, they couldn't have gotten any better. Now, in the case of this 2024 team, they're great, but they aren't nearly the best possible iteration of what the greatest...
Yeah. Unique. Brunson, where are you from? I didn't know he was, unique. Okay. Kawhi, unique, but yeah, you're absent all the time. Oh wait, okay. So these two are probably still American. Okay, my bad. Unique, Butler, yeah, okay. And then we look at this roster, and LeBronto does what Balco does. Steph is also unique. I'll give those two credit. Okay, seen this before. See this all over the league. Yeah, I see this all over the league now. You were unique at a time. Just your average, your regular center who's really good. You're a Jordan wannabe, which is cool. I mean, that's fine. Booker, you play exactly like these two combined. You know, like it's just there's nothing special about it. Jordan didn't play like Magic, who didn't play like Barkley. None of these guys have anything to do with each other. How about all 5 of these guys? They don't play anything alike. Throw another power forward in. These 2 guys don't play anything alike. All right, shooting guards. Jordan and Drexler did not play the same game. Stockton and Magic, completely different styles of point guards. Small forwards. Bird, Pippen, completely different styles of small forward. All right, throw Mullen in there. Nothing like these 2. Styles of playing center. Patrick, God, yeah, this is way obvious. They play nothing alike. Christian Laettner, yeah, you're there.
Collection of talent in the entire world would look like today. So not only was the Dream Team the greatest collection of talent in the history of basketball, nearly all of the players on the Dream Team were at the peak of their powers, but they were also eviscerating teams. More legendary than this 92 roster and the dominance of their individual players, the Dream Team was crushing their opponents.
Yes, we were.
In Game 1 of Group Play, the Dream Team scored 116 points while holding their opponent to just 48. In the
Angola. I know there's one of you out there from Angola who watches these videos. So shout out to you, sir.
Finals, the Dream Team beat a really good Lithuania team by 51 points.
Yeah, no
if
biggie.
you want to know just how outmatched these countries were, look no further than the guy who just threw in the towel and just started snapping pictures of the Dream Team while the game was still going on.
Yeah, why not?
And in the gold medal game against a loaded Croatia team featuring 6 NBA players, the Dream
Dino
Team
Raja.
won by 33 points.
Yep.
Look at this play right here. Gold medal game. The pride of an entire country on the line. Barkley hits Leitner for a 3 and calls it good before he even puts up the shot. These games were never close. In fact, this team wasn't even fair.
Yeah.
During the 92 Olympics, the Dream Team had an average margin of victory of nearly 44 points. The largest margin of victory of any men's team at any professional level. And
Okay, 96. What happened here? What I got to do some research. What happened in 2000? All right, 43. So 32 was the follow up with the second Dream Team, and all right, 2004. Yeah, that's when we sucked ass and we lost. We got LeBron's. 2008, back to 28 points. Welcome back, Kobe. And in 2012, with Kobe, still 32. What's happened ever since then? Well, I guess we had a... No, we suck. Ever since Kobe left, we suck, man. We miss you, Kobe.
and twice the margin Team USA put up in the 2016 and 2020 Olympics. Their average margin of victory this summer has been just 10 points. Granted, they are still making tweaks to their lineups and experimenting with different game plans, so this number will likely change over the course of the Olympics. But through 5 exhibition games, they aren't winning in nearly the same blowout fashion we saw in the past.
No, and we don't have that unique player that will just take over a game when we need it. I mean, so far it's looking like that guy's LeBron James, and that's scary. If LeBron is our savior in clutch moments, when it comes time to take over a game, that scares the hell out of me. I'd much rather have, a Jordan and a Kobe, and over here we probably have like Penny and Shaq and Barkley and all kinds of dudes who can take over a game. Who the hell takes over a game on this roster?
And this level of dominance that we saw from the Dream Team, the USA men's team in '96, 2008, and even 2012, will more than likely never happen again. In 1992, excluding the US team, the 11 teams that played in the Olympic basketball tournament featured 18 players that were active in the NBA or were in the NBA at one point in their career. In this year's Summer Olympics, the 11 countries outside of the US that are playing in the tournament feature 68 active or former NBA players.
One thing to note is a lot of these guys that are not listed as being NBA players, they actually didn't want to play in the NBA because they were getting paid more for playing in their country's teams. Ask Tony Kukoc about that. So the ones who really want to come to the United States, they're doing it for, to the NBA, they're doing it for the reason of proving that they can do it. But financially, not all of them were incentivized to come here and play for us. Now they are. But that's also fading too, because there are a lot of other international leagues that are trying to compete financially with us and paying a shit ton of money to players right now. So I don't know how long that'll last, but for now, people are coming here for the money. And back then, they didn't really need to do that.
Now, this is an oversimplified way of looking at the caliber of these teams, because as we've seen before, having the most NBA talent on your roster does not guarantee success. But it does show just how much the world has caught up with the US in basketball. The once massive chasm that separated USA basketball from the rest of the world has been shrinking for over the last decade or so, and is now at a point where many countries can truly contend for a gold medal. As it stands, this 2024 US men's roster may be the greatest team ever assembled in terms of their accomplishments and their legacies and resumes. But when it comes to the sheer dominance they have on the court together and how good each individual player was at the time of the team's formation, the Dream Team is still the best team in the history of basketball. And with the leaps and bounds foreign players continue to make, I don't think we will ever see one single team reach this level of dominance ever again. A team that still remains the gold standard.
All right. Actually, not a bad video here. I almost threw up in my mouth for the first like 2 minutes of it, but outside of that, cool, informative video, Jimmy. Yeah, at the end of the day, there's no competing with the original Dream Team. That team was just so damn good. It was just so damn good to have it was so well crafted too, because everybody complemented each other, which is what you're supposed to do in team sports. Everyone was a complement to each other. No one was playing the same game, and we filled in all the gaps, you know. And we did it without a high ego. We did it as a unit, as a team, and it's just something I don't see in our current roster, that we've got all of our bases covered. I see a lot of dudes who can do the same crap, and one ball to share. So I worry about it, because when I see a team like Germany or South Sudan almost beat us and I'm watching them play, it's because they're actually crafting a good team. It's not about what names are on the lineup. It's about what those individuals can do for that 5-man roster that's on the floor, you know? So I don't know. I am still worried, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We shall see what happens. I got some friends coming over tonight. We're going to have some drinks, and we're going to be talking about this, I'm sure. We're going to be talking about this exact subject. But anyways, let me know what you thought about the video, everybody. Leave the video a like if you enjoyed it, and yeah, comment down below. What do you think about the current roster versus the Dream Team? What do you think about it? Do you see what I see, where it's like this is a good team on paper, but if you combine them, it's not actually a well-crafted team? Let me know. All right, everybody, I'm out of here. I will see you tonight for the After Dark. Thanks for watching as always, and peace out.